Hi everyone, good morning. It's Margaret Manning here and welcome to 60 and Me. Hope that you are having a beautiful morning wherever you are in this amazing world that we live in. I'm starting my day with a cup of tea. I've got my choco chai. It's a chocolate chai. I actually never thought about having a drink with chocolate in it in the morning because I have my hot chocolates in the evening. But I've got a choco chai this morning and it tastes good. So hope that you've got a cup of tea or coffee and are in the mood for rethinking some of the things about being in your 60s. You know, that's what 60 and Me is all about. We have basically got three priorities that we focus on. We've got health, wealth, and everything else: independence, travel, education, retirement, all those things that we are dealing with in our 60s. And more and more women are doing something that I'd like to talk to you about today, with a hope to getting a different lens on it. You know, we've talked about downsizing a couple of times, and it's something that I've done, well, really as a lifestyle for the last 5 or 6 years. I went through a period where I just said that's enough, done, and like many of you, went through 50 boxes and just gave away things, donated my art, gave away all my kids' projects, let them go, and just decided that it was time to live a simpler life. But when you're thinking about downsizing, I've got a different lens on it today for you to consider. And that is, why not do something to save the world while you're downsizing your stuff? And that involves thinking about downsizing as a recycling opportunity rather than just a way to throw stuff away and minimize the number of things. There's some pretty creative things that you can do to recycle. So basically, recycling is, if you think about it, it's just the converting of waste material in whatever form into something usable. So we think about recycling, like recycling plastic bottles or recycling pieces of paper and so on. Those things that can be torn down and then reconstructed. Well, we can also think about this in terms of downsizing our possessions. And one of our bloggers, Cheryl Therian, wrote this great article about basically using decluttering as a way of saving the world and being sustainable in the way we live our lives in general. And as I mentioned, downsizing for me is more of a lifestyle than a thing that you do once every few years. It's just constant awareness of how much you need and how things can be reused. So here are some of the thoughts that she had about recycling as you downsize, which I think is a kind of nice way of looking at a task that maybe you don't want to do. But if you know you're helping others and giving your things a new life, then maybe there's a good purpose to it. They say that there's always a more meaning if you have purpose and have something that you're contributing to the world. So, clothing. This is where we normally all start, right? In our closet, we start picking out things that we haven't worn in years or that don't fit us anymore, or things that we didn't ever really want when we bought them in the first place. And, we start thinking, oh, we'll just throw those away, or we'll give them away to the charity shop. Well, Cheryl gives an idea about what about finding a company or a group that does upcycling. And this is where you take clothing and you mix and match it. And there's some really cool women on, I suppose men too, on Etsy that are selling, a dress that's got a sleeve from a shirt, or a shirt that's got a little bit added to it to make a tunic from from an old bedspread. And it's basically taking different textiles, different combinations, and making things that are really cool and unusual. For example, taking the top of in India, they take the top of a sari, for example, and they make it, into a quilt. This is very common, but things you can do with beautiful materials instead of just throwing the piece of clothing away. And also, there are groups that quilting groups that would love some unusual materials if you've got them and you're about to donate them or throw them away. The waste with clothing these days, with the disposable fashion, is really quite dramatic. So the more that you can do to recycle some of this material, either by giving the clothing away as it is, or making it into something interesting and new, it's better. So that's something to think about when you're thinking about clothing. Another thing is furniture. We always think, who wants that sofa? Or who wants that sideboard that we can give it to? As if we had to give it away to someone. It suits their style perhaps better than yours, or it just doesn't fit in that smaller home. And another idea that Cheryl gives is to look at reupholstering and painting, like chalk painting, where you get that kind of rustic, shabby chic look. You can make this furniture into something quite amazing and sell it. You can make a little money from it. I have several friends in the States who do upholstery, and they just take a very plain piece of furniture they've purchased at a garage sale, and they turn it into something amazing. So think about furniture as being recycled rather than just discarded or thrown away. Another thing is holiday cards. I mean, I don't know whether you got a lot of holiday cards this year. I actually did, and I actually like buying them too. I like paper things. So if you've got some cards that you were given over the holidays, you don't. I mean, on the back of the picture, there's nothing written usually. So you can turn it into like a gift tag for any use. You get some beautiful, more abstract cards at Christmas and holidays that you could use for any time of the year. So it's a beautiful photo, and then you can use the other side for a message. And there's lots of organizations too that do this. St. Jude's Ranch for Children is one that I wrote down here. Apparently they have a program for using paper holiday cards. And I'm sure if you typed in recycling holiday cards, you'd find some really cool ideas. So that's another one for you to think about. Another recycling idea that you might be interested in is dishes. Okay, so hands up, who has like 3 or 4 sets of dishes? Actually, I used to. I don't anymore. I have like 2 bowls, 2 plates, 2 everything. That's figuring I might have a guest over for dinner at some point. But I just, all the rest has been donated. But her idea is they can be used as decorative plates. Just take one of the beautiful plates. There's companies, and you could even do it yourself, where you could do painting around the plate to turn it from a very simple plate into a decorative piece. You can hang it on your wall like as an art piece. And also these vendors that offer the creative services, they then often sell them on for charity or some other good cause. So dishes don't have to be wasted. And I don't know, I just actually thought this came into my mind just suddenly, is that if you donate them to college dorms, think how many college kids show up at the campus without any plates or saucepans or anything. And there must be some charities that take care of them, but that's just another idea. Now, another thing is to donate just in general to charity shops. I've mentioned it many times. I have a little shop here in our town where I go every week, and I normally take a little bag or a few things that I have just found that they've been sitting there for a while, and I just donate them. And that's a great way of recycling. I mean, if you have a favorite charity or a group that you want to support, it's a really good idea to consider them specifically. I mean, just don't throw them out or put them in a recycling bin. Take them to the place you want them to go. I think that's a really, really nice idea. So I think that, I hope you found this a useful conversation. I mean, recycling is good on lots of levels. Number one, it helps you to downsize. Number 2, it helps someone else get access to something, clothing or a craft item that they can make into something wonderful with their creative genius. And, I think we often use downsizing as an excuse to say no to things. Well, I think you should say yes to things, and that downsizing is really just that. It's saying yes. It's saying yes to your style, yes to what you love, and yes to what you think is beautiful. And there's a quote, I think it was William Morris that said it. He was the founder of the artisan movement, and he said something like, only have things in your house that are beautiful or that you feel to be useful. That you feel to be beautiful or you feel to be useful. And I think all the rest can be donated and recycled. So if you were sitting there thinking, what on earth am I going to do with all this stuff? I hope that's given you a few fun ideas to follow up on. And thanks, Cheryl, for that for that article that give us a different way of looking at downsizing. So, thanks again for being here, everyone. Hope you've had a fun time listening to this little rambling chat. I'd love you to leave your comments below. Have you done any downsizing in your life? And, what's your thinking? What's your philosophy about recycling? I mean, genuinely, I think that we can help this world, to live, to have a little bit longer life itself if we take care of some of the things that can be recycled. Simple, like I said, water bottles and paper, and just use those little bins that they put out now in most places to encourage us to recycle. So anyway, I hope you have a fabulous day, everybody. I hope you have a fun day wherever you are in the world. Go out and do something incredible and wonderful. Call a friend, give someone that you know is feeling lonely a hug. Write something in your journal. Go cook a nice healthy dish for you to eat. Go to the gym, do some yoga. You got lots of things to do. So again, thanks for being here. It's my honor to be with you and to walk along with this journey with you. And I'll see you again really soon. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.